Hi, everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. Today we are joined by Fred, who has just released his newest park here. This is an 80 plus percent winning gold park on New Element. Fred, welcome in. What are we looking at today?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me. We are taking a look at my park named Erlebnispark Osenbach, which is from the name you can hear it. It's a German park.
Well, I'm glad you said it because I can't speak German. So let's start down here at the entrance. So this is sort of a Trips Drill inspired park, and I guess German overall.
Yeah, yes, the park is mainly inspired by Tripsdrill. It's well, almost only inspired by Tripsdrill. It looks a lot like it. Of course, it's not a recreation, just heavily inspired. And there are some reference to other German parks.
But I like how the entrance here is sort of understated. It's pretty quaint, for a large park. But I think like Tripsdrill, they got big, kind of fast actually, but their entrance and area still feels kind of small and very quaint.
Yes, the real Tripsdrill is still a charming family-owned park, so this kind of entrance fits the style of park, I think.
Well, there's lots of these great green spaces and walkways. Like we missed the one up here at the front with the statues and the water fountain and everything. And same sort of thing back in here. I really like that in particular.
Yes, those fit the style of the park really great, and it helped me to get some shortcuts for the peeps and to fill in some extra space than other with filler foliage or something else.
Absolutely. Here's our first coaster. This is a Tivoli large model. Actually, a pretty nice recreation here, and reasonably compact for what can otherwise become a really big ride in RCT.
Yeah, it was the first coaster I built on this map, and of course, German Park has to have a zero coaster like this with a 20-car train. Um, Real Real Tripsdrill also has one.
It does look a
I
little
have to,
bit ridiculous there, but I think it works.
yeah, the real ones also have 20 cars per train. I have to thank a Belgian guy for pushing me with this one because until very late, I just had regular RCT supports on it. And he really nagged me about do custom supports. And I finally did. And it looks, I have to admit, he was right. It looks much better with custom supports.
Yeah, they look really nice with the box frame for all of those. And then one of our first of the custom rides, you get a couple of these. I really like this Swan Boats and just the theming throughout this.
Yes, I also have to thank somebody else for that. That's FK. It was his idea to do it like this with the curved wall from the Tolsemer made, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it was the channel is really nice. It kind of makes it really feel like a concrete trough boat ride. I do like the way that this fountain sort of the boat sort of wrap that fountain. That's really cool.
yeah, at first I just had the splash boats as it, but that didn't look so good. And FK suggested this, and while on some points it doesn't look very clean, but it brings so much curvature into the game, and yeah, it adds a lot, I think.
It's a pretty sizable building here up at the front. This is your dark ride and some nice facades here. Looks like some shops, some stalls, and some things.
Yes, it's dark ride with a little restaurant next to it, and I think the Germans will laugh at the name of the of the dark ride.
Oh, I didn't catch it. What was it?
Yeah, it's called Busenstein, and yeah, Busen, and in German that means titties.
I mean, I feel like you gotta have something like that then, right? Very
Yeah,
nice.
I don't know. Have you done Holiday Park?
I have the dark ride there is interesting.
Yes, it's basically a reference to that one because that one has a animatronic where a lady shows her boobs. Well, it had to. Plopsa covered it up,
Oh,
but
did
it
they get
had
rid of
to.
it? It was definitely there when I was there.
Well, yeah, it's kind of infamous with Team Park enthusiasts, so that would be a funny reference to that.
There you go. So coming in the other direction, I've got this really nice lake. I love the landscaping around it. It actually works really well throughout. And then the two butterflies here on either side.
Yeah, of course, it wouldn't be a German park without butterflies.
Do you count them as coasters?
um, I will shamefully admit I do.
All right, I do too. So at least we're not totally.
Okay.
There. I like the little pigs out here with the flying saucers and little tractor ride here too.
Yeah, I used Big Shooter Gill's object for the cows, just because there are not better objects for it. But Tolsmer made one, or was busy making one, so yeah.
Very nice. And then to the next coaster, which is a nice, unique one. This is Mach Spinner. Really love
No,
the color
no,
scheme on this one.
I have to correct you on that. It's a Gerstlauer spinning
Oh,
coaster.
I see that now.
Uh,
Okay, I was
yeah,
feeling Mach initially. Okay, so what led you to do this one? Since I know Tripstore doesn't have one.
yes, but there was kind of a rumor for some years that Tripsdrill would get a Gerstlauer spinning coaster, and then they went with a Tuve Comas last year.
I see.
So I thought it would be fitting to include a spinning coaster, also because those are fun rides to ride and make. And yeah, it was. I think it's one of my better coasters I made. And the team, it has a chicken team, and
Yeah,
that's reference to the real Wilde Hilde from Schwabenpark. And
I
if
love
you
that.
installed the custom music I delivered with the park, then you would also have the Wilde Hilde soundtrack in game, which is really a must do. If you haven't heard it, listen to it.
It is pretty fantastic.
Um,
So
Also, if you
loving
put
this
the
slide.
yeah, have you noted the brown tree?
No. Oh, I see it here.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. The park was tested. I looked through it for final visit. I didn't notice it, and then Faz noticed it while he streamed the park. So yeah,
I feel like you can do these things over and over and over again and look at everything, but you'll still miss things like that. So, not, I feel like most people, if you hadn't pointed it out to me, we would have just rolled on through it. So, not surprising. I do love the little chicken stalls here as in the Helix. That's hilarious and just throughout the whole place. I think that's a really nice touch.
yeah, those chicken stalls were my first experience with the object editor. So I just shrimped the regular chicken RCT stall and made a new shop out of it
All
as
right.
to use as theming.
So continuing along, we've got another great tracked ride here. Which one of the things that I like about this park is the amount of just unique kind of track rides and boat rides and things like that. Since it's not something you often see. It's usually either a flat ride or a roller coaster. But this is nice that you have a good variety here. So this is a pretty cool, like almost soapbox derby type racer.
Yeah, Soapbox. Yeah, Tripsdale has a lot of those kind of unique rides. So more than my park has actually.
And then just anchored nicely with the Cheyenne shops and stalls that you get into the very European esque tradition of rides with stuff with pathway around it and just this whole kind of big mix of maze of pathways all over, but then you have different like rides and almost a plaza created in each one of the different sections. So I think this is kind of nice how there's this ride entrance here, some planters around it, and then you have this great seating area right across the way with the food stall and everything, or the restaurant and everything else.
Thanks.
So over to our big splash ride here. So this is oh this I think is this your name that you were originally going to call the park? Ombach?
Yes, this
Ombach?
ride is named Baumbach Vloesavontuur, the spelwoorden. And at first, Baumbach was the name for my park, Erlebnispark Baumbach, which is named after the river that runs through Trepdrill, Baumbach. But the version 1 didn't like that name, and he said just pick a name from a real village near Tripsdrill. So it became Osenbach. But I still got the Baumbach reference in the park with this ride.
I love this using the mini golf here as the cue. I feel like I don't see that enough, and it's actually a really effective way to do just a nice, clean kind of gangway across an open space. I think that's really nice.
Yeah, just regular pet object was a bit too wide for my opinion. It blocked too much of the view.
All right, so you have your little kids area here. So a couple of the two by two rides, which are very nice to see, and then the balloon race and the helicopter ride above, very nice.
Yes, the flying elephant ride. I don't know why I call it flying elephants, but I
Yeah.
also wanna say thank you, Brian, for your hacking videos you do, because that's the way I learned how to shoestring and could make those two little
Well,
rides.
I appreciate the free advertising. Thank you. So this one I like. It's a shame that we don't really have the ability to properly make one of these things run, but the very nice Gerstlauer Skyfly here, um, with the pretty heavy theming like the real one. Feels very much like the Da Vinci swing at Tripsdrill. This is quite nice.
Yeah, thank you.
And do you have
Yeah,
a ride buried underneath of there? I saw the guests kind of coming in and out.
yes, I placed an invisible enterprise on it, so at least it would look like it's a peepable ride.
Well, that's always nice because then you can get a queue and you can get the exit and the entrance and the exit, and the ride doesn't necessarily have to run. So that's good to see that coming in
Yeah,
there. But yeah, it's a shame that we can't get one of those to run. Maybe somebody will figure that out at some point.
well, if someone can figure it out, then it will be you.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
We'll see. All right, and here's our the wine ride, which I do remember having ridden this one when I was there.
ye- it's actually one of my favorite rides in Tripsdrill. It's a must do because you sit in a wine barrel and then it goes around, but you can also spin your wine barrel and with the right friends in it, that can make for a crazy experience.
Yeah,
So
it's like a mobile teacups,
yeah, something like that. It's so
which
much fun.
I actually think this track works pretty well in here. The side friction track. And
Well,
then
yeah,
the all the little wine details here. I love the fountains with the red.
yes, those are fountains of red wine. They have to picture that.
And I'm glad you
I al-
have the planarium here because that was one of my favorite parts of the real park. Is you go in there and you get your free glass, and then you can go downstairs and get the wine and the different sodas that they have.
yes, that's always a big plus when visiting Tripsdale. Now, I don't drink alcohol, so I don't drink wine, but I always get my glass.
I
Those
spent
are
most of
nice.
the time with the sodas, to be honest. Those were pretty good.
Oh yeah,
It was just me
oh
and
yeah,
a bunch of kids, and then my wife over at the wine bar.
oh yeah. It's true. They also have some kind of apple soda, something like that.
And it's really good. Um, Speaking of Apple, here we've got your the swing ride here. This is very nice.
Yes, it's literally called apple tree in German, and also done by your tutorial. And I think you helped me because I had troubles fixing it, but uh, here it
Yeah,
is.
working well, and always nice to see it operating at least. I think that's the. I always like seeing custom rides, and I like especially to see custom rides that also have uh, that are also operational with peeps and everything. So it's always good to see that.
Yes, there is also a custom ride for it, I think made by Amazing Earl, but
Hmm.
that's pretty small, and I think these custom ones fit the scale much better.
I agree. I agree. All right. Well, here is an actual mock coaster, so I got that one correct. So this is the your powered coaster in the park, which I kind of enjoy since you don't usually see a lot of these in the game. I don't feel like.
No, that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do one, and also because it's an uber German coaster to have. A lot of German parks have this kind of coaster, so it fits the park very good. Also made by a German constructor, and if you know Tripsdale, a lot of their coasters are made by German constructors.
Yeah, that's very
Like
true. Yeah, it is nice to see this. I think I had ridden a lot of coasters before I got my first mock powered coaster, so it was one of those kind of as somebody from the U.S. It's more of a rare type of thing, so it's always good to see it. And I like the way that you hacked in the sloped corners here. I feel like that gives it a little more character. And I mean, nice. Thankfully enough, the sprites are there.
Yeah, I used the minicar coaster as a dummy for those turns because the original power coaster type in RCT is kind of limited, but with like this, yeah, it gives a bit more opportunity. It's also a great coaster to have interaction with other rides, like I
Yeah.
have here with Rapid River.
So tell me about the Rapids ride. For those who don't know Tripstrill has a bunch of themes related to kind of household tasks in kind of older Germany. So this is part of that, right?
Oh, you cannot say that the park is themed to old Germany because V1 will get mad. He will correct you and say it's themed after Schwaben, the region Schwaben, in the 19th century specifically. And indeed, there are some funny themed rides in the park, like the Rapid River, which is themed after doing the laundry.
You get your nice roller there. I love the soap. And a couple of spots there. The shower on the.
Yeah, I have to be honest. Some stuff in here is um pretty much stolen from Jappy's Everland, like the shower thing and the soap. He did that with his splash battle, which was also themed to laundry.
Oh, credit where credit is due. That was a great park,
Yes.
also. Um,
I didn't like doing the rapid, to be honest. I think it will be the last time I do one.
I'm
It
not a
was,
huge fan of
it
building
was so
rapids
much work.
rides. They can be somewhat of a pain. Also,
Yeah.
I think nice shout out for the cool awnings here, which I think it was you and Belgian guy who put those together initially, right?
No, I did.
Okay.
No, actually, I came up with it because you see these shadow clothes in real life, but there was not really a version of it in RCT.
Hmm.
And I showed it in a separate server with where a Belgian guy is also present, and he liked it and he picked it up with his Dino design.
Got it.
And I actually made an object for it, and I use it over here, as you can see.
Oh, very nice.
I also have a colorable version of it. This is a standard beige kind of, but there's also a colorable version included.
Makes sense. Well, here, if you're familiar with the Real Trips Trail, should be relatively familiar. We've got the fantastic themed log flume and the Gerstlauer bobsled coaster here all together. Um, Also threw in a drop tower, which is very cool. So I'm gonna look at this all at once. You want to talk through it?
Well, yeah, of course, it's the main side of Tripsdrill, Sanct to South bobsled coaster with the log flume. Um, the bobsled, it's maybe a bit strange to have a bobsled coaster and spinning coaster in the same park, but I think they're separate, different enough to have them also with different theming. And I have to admit that the bobsled coaster is maybe realistically too high for this type of coaster, but it's like the only way I could make it work with the teaming and log flume around and to have working block brakes.
And it is a pretty long layout. Did you have to adjust the mass on the coaster to get it to work?
Yes, because I designed it first with a wooden coast car trains.
Yeah,
But then I changed it to the Aloco, and that was yeah, he didn't make it, so I had to play with the mass a bit
I think
to
it
make it
worked
work.
out pretty well. It's a pretty long ride. And you're right, it's tall, but there's enough kind of subtle elevation change here as you look through the whole thing. If you hide the scenery, that I think it works. It works well, and yeah, it is tall, but it works through the whole space. I do love the architecture here, and this was my favorite structures in Tripsdrill also.
Have to say, this whole area was a bit of a pain in the ass to make at sometimes, but I'm glad how it turned out. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I think it looks really nice. I think it's turned out well.
um, I also added a drop tower. Tripsdale doesn't have one, but lately a lot of German parks have added drop towers, so I thought it would be right to include one as well.
Yeah. And just like the real park, there's this kind of nice open space in the middle. Although I guess it got a big play area since I was last there. But you have the Roomies sort of surreal dancing peeps ride here in the middle.
Yes, at first I was gonna leave it open like grass, but it was maybe a too much open grass, so I added pergola with a dance floor, with a Schwabish dance music, folk music, and it's also included as custom music in the game. So
Well, that's a good choice as far as your two custom music goes. So we'll jump over to this one here. So this is Mammoth. This is you have this one as a gravity group. In the real park, it's
in
Cordes, so Gerstlauer more or
yeah,
less.
in Real Park, the Woody is made not made by Gerstlauer, but it's made by German constructor.
Hmm.
So it's all German coaster, but the real one isn't very good, kind of rough. Also not an interesting layout. So I wanted the more a terrain woody, and this coaster is half me, half Belgian guy, somewhat.
Okay.
I made one, and it wasn't pretty smooth. And Belgian guy smoothed out mainly the part after the first helix. This whole out and back is
A nice
always
turnaround
horrible.
here, and then this tunnel is good. I like the way that it drops down. Gives you a nice big drop there in the middle.
Yeah, Belgian guy said a gravity group would be the way to go, and he was right. I didn't listen to him because he said to do steel supports, but but I think a German park would really want to go with real wood for authenticity.
I think the
Yeah,
wood is nice.
struggling with my words, but it feels more authentic for a German park to have real wood. For
Yeah,
this.
I like the wood through there. Nice queue line. You got a heck of a lot of people waiting for this.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty popular, and there's
Mm.
also a, a, a little drop before the lift, and then that's meant as Dark Ride Park. The
Oh,
real
very
Mammoth
nice.
also has that,
Yeah,
and
there's the spinning saw blade above your head that you drop underneath, right?
yeah. And for the people wondering why the name Mammoth, they might think of the animal, but Mammoth is also German for some kind of tree.
Okay, that's news to me. I didn't know that. I kind of wondered why it was called that either, but I never looked into it. All right, interesting. Another custom ride over here with your sort of industrial mine esque area.
Yes, some kind of industrial area. Because Tripsdrill also has this kind of teaming with Caracho. And yeah, this ride was not really planned, but there was too much open space there. So I had added one there. So there was a little bit of movement and more filling in that corner.
Oh, and
Because
speaking
the
of
high,
Baracho here, you've given it an upgrade. So the real one is a Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. You've added a New Age of Vekoma instead.
yes, because I had this layout laying around for quite a while. And I had so many alterations of it, and I wanted to use one, and I thought this would be perfect because Tripsdrill also opened Vekoma suspended thrill coaster last year. Um, I I just went for the new gen launch coaster from Vekoma, which is a bit of more of an upgrade than the Gerstlauer. I also used the orange instead of gray because that that looks just way much better and less depressing.
Yeah, I think it stands out well. I love this launch here between the building and the stacks, and then the top hat with the curve underneath through the loop.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this coaster, and I think it's the best coaster I made. It's or for me as is it it's at least the coaster I made I am most proud of.
Well, and these layouts can be a little bit difficult. The new gen Vekomas, just because they're doing kind of weird banking and things that you can't really do in the game, but you can sort of fudge it a little bit to make it appear like it's similar. And I think you've done a nice job with it to get that overall look. So I think it did turn out really well. Works nicely above the queue line. Works around the theming. I like the this kind of little out and back section that goes up and over the pathways. You got this nice tunnel right there. I think that works very well.
Yeah, it fit. Like I said, I didn't build this coaster for this park, but it fitted what I had in mind for this park perfectly. So um, yeah, and I'm also pretty proud of my station, which is it also has a toilet block, a bit of queue inside, and then it also fits the storage room, and there's also a restaurant in it. So it's
Yeah,
really
it's
one big
pretty massive,
usage.
but you've done it well to make it appear like a couple of different buildings that are attached to one another. You get the nice brick structure here in the middle, your restroom building here on the side. The queue kind of wraps around underneath, and then a couple of different structures here. This would be a cool space to die in, I would think, just to be able to watch the coaster launch right by you.
Yeah, it has the lounge right over the entrance, and then there's a little terrace up next to it. So me as a coaster interest would also love to sit there and watch the trains speed up right
Oh,
there.
absolutely. So then outside the park, you've got what you would expect to see around Tripsdrill and the whole area as a whole, just kind of the nice farmland and everything. Some nice back of house areas too, with your uh, warehouse spaces and just storage areas and all of that.
I have to thank Scenery Manager to help finishing the outskirts because that helped a lot. Scenery Manager.
This is very nice little church over here.
As you can see, there's also a person waiting in front of the church, and if you look at that guy, then you can see that's our RWE.
Oh,
Uh, I included every German new Elementer, and then I think there's 12 or 14 hidden in the park. So that's also a game. Find the Germans.
nice. That's always good to have another little uh, hide and seek type thing. A nice
Yeah,
wine
version 1
there.
was not happy with this guy in the park.
Oh well, I will let the viewer have to find him
Yeah.
then. Nice.
And apparently, I also made an inside joke about MCI there, which you can see waiting on the bus. He apparently went in real life, visited Schwabenpark with the bus, and his bus didn't come.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, V1 told me. So it wasn't meant to be a joke, but it's an inside joke between V1 and MCI. So it's kind of funny. It's also in here.
I love this sign. A little billboard there with the loop.
Yeah. Well, the Vekoma is their newest edition, so I thought I'd make a billboard for it. Would fit that place well.
Makes sense.
Like
So
most European parks
is this a little
have
residential house here, or is this part of the park?
no, it's just a house outside of the park, and from one angle you can find a German near over there. He's in the pool,
Oh no.
drowning. Skinos.
Well,
Uh,
hope
no, it's
he.
just a lonely house next to the park. If you ask me, I would love to live there in the
Yeah,
green theme park next to it,
that
and a
would
pool. I would love to have a pool.
be nice. Lots of nice little details here in the back. Got your dumpsters. Got some of the trash and things. The high reach. I feel like everybody needs a high reach now in their park.
This park just have a house as part of their backstage. So
Right.
there's a farm.
Absolutely. So very, very nicely done there. So your favorite thing as far as the park goes is the Vekoma, huh?
Oh yeah, it's the thing I'm most proud of. Um, the layout was also teaming wise. I also I also love the Woody, but I have to credit Belgian guy for that. And in general, it's also yeah you can clearly see what's the new stuff I built and what's the older stuff. But like this whole site with the Caracho, the Woody, and the bobsled is like the last stuff I built on the park, and I think there's kind of you can notice that, but story wise, it's also the newest part of the park, so it kind of fits the narrative.
Yeah, I think the development helps to see that over time. I mean, you built this park pretty quickly, didn't you?
Yes, I started in April last year, in COVID lockdown. I built quite a lot, so and yeah, finished it a month ago, 2 months ago.
That's pretty impressive. I think my
Yeah,
favorite architecture is still this whole area around the bobsled and the log flume. But I do like the Vekoma a lot. I'm also a pretty big fan of the Gerstlauer spinner here. I
yeah,
do
thanks.
like that layout. But so what's next for Fred? What are you building on now?
Well, I'm now building on a design entry of an Mach Extreme spinning coaster. It's based on the one that Plopsland is opening this year, and it will have an Atlantis theme. And I'm planning to make it go all out on the theming.
All right, well, that'll be interesting. Always
Yeah,
good to see. Well, I think that's everything here. Is there anything else you wanted to add on the park?
I'm thinking of something that I should say. Can't really think of anything. Well, beside of that I had really much fun building it, and I was really inspired because yeah, I love Tripsdale. I love German parks in general, and well, I'm glad to have made this. It's clearly my best work. I had much fun with it, and I hope you all can enjoy it.
Excellent. Well, it looks like you had a lot of fun building it, and I had a lot of fun exploring it. It is a nice park and a well-deserved gold winner there. So the link to download the park will be in the description below. And if you have any suggestions for other parks you would like to see reviewed, or other people you'd like to see me get on the channel here, feel free to let me know. But thank you all very much for watching. Thank you especially to Fred for coming on, and we'll see you in the next one. So thank you all. Have a great day.